having mysterious issues with your schnoz, your beak, your sniffer? Are you tired of not being able to smell the warm fragrance of flowers or your cookies burning in the oven? Well, to avoid potentially burning down your house, get your new and improved nose now. Get rid of that frustration and learn all about this amazing new tool and how it's beneficial in everyday life. And here's how your nose does it. Your sense of smell, like your sense of taste, is part of your chemosensory system, or the chemical senses. The main organ for this sense is the nose, of course, and its complex systems within. The taste buds on our tongues can only distinguish 4 qualities, but all other tastes are detected by the olfactory receptors high up in our nasal passages. Your ability to smell comes from specialized sensory cells called olfactory sensory neurons, which are found in a small patch of tissue high inside the nose. The millions of olfactory receptor cells send their electrical messages through the olfactory nerve to the olfactory bulb, the brain's first processing station for odor information. These cells have thin thread-like projections called olfactory cilia, which float in the nasal mucus. Olfactory cilia contain the molecular machinery for detecting the arrival of odorants and then generate an electrical signal to be sent to the brain. These cells have several unique characteristics. They are nerve cells. Unlike other sensory receptor cells, such as the rods and cones of the visual system, the olfactory receptors are located on nerve cells directly connected to the brain. This creates a special connection that speaks to the evolutionary importance of the olfactory information. Everything we can smell emits tiny molecules that can enter our olfactory system in 2 ways, either through our nostrils or the back of our throat. Mostly everything emits these molecules, from perfume to bread. We're most familiar with smelling through our nostrils, although eating food which releases molecules into the back of the throat can also cause us to smell. Once inside your nostrils, these air molecules land on the olfactory epithelium, a tissue covered in mucus that lines the nasal cavity. The epithelium contains millions of olfactory receptors, or neurons, that are capable of binding with specific odor molecules. This region of the brain, located in the limbic system, is often associated with memories, emotions, and learning. This is why smell is notorious for triggering these feelings, and why you may find yourself transported to a different time when you smell chlorine, the inside of an old textbook, or even your favorite food as a child. For those of you viewers out there who are having sniffer difficulties, you could have one of these 3 problems. Anosmia is the loss of smell and can be caused by nasal and sinus diseases, upper respiratory infection, head trauma, cigarette smoking, age, and even cocaine abuse. Sometimes certain medications can also be the cause of smell or taste disorders, and improvement occurs when the medicine is stopped or changed. For treatments, your doctor can take a look inside your nose with a special instrument to see if a polyp or growth is impairing your ability to smell, or if an infection is present. Further testing may be necessary. Also, changing medications or getting surgeries to remove polyps can help. Unfortunately, anosmia is not always treatable, especially if age is the cause, but there are steps you can take to make living with the inability to smell more pleasant and safer. If you smoke, quit. Smoking can dull your senses, including your sense of smell. A deviated septum can also cause difficulty breathing. This is when the thin wall between the nostrils, which is made of cartilage and bone, is off-centered or crooked. It can be present at birth, may become crooked during growth, or may be caused by injury to the nose and face. Symptoms include difficulty breathing through the nose, nasal congestion, sinus infections, nosebleeds, sleep problems, headaches, and postnasal drip. Some symptoms of deviated septums may be treated with medication. More severe cases may require surgery to repair the septum. One form of procedure is called a septoplasty. This is done to correct a deformity in the nasal septum. Nasal polyps are common, non-cancerous, teardrop-shaped growths that form on the nose or sinuses. They're often associated with allergies or asthma and cause no symptoms, especially if they're small. But the larger ones can cause normal drainage from the sinuses. The first-line treatment for nasal polyps is a nasal corticosteroid spray. In many cases, such treatment can shrink or even eliminate nasal polyps. In other cases, a 1-week tapered course of oral corticosteroids, such as a prednisone, may be necessary. It's been found that different populations tend to have different gene sequences and therefore different in their ability to smell specific compounds. For example, they found that populations from Africa, where humans have said to come from, tend to be able to smell it, while those from the northern hemisphere tend not to. This suggests that the different forms of this gene might have been subject to natural selection. Evidence indicates humans have lost the function of all but 388 of over 1,000 olfactory receptors encoded in the genome. Regarding the origins of modern human sense of smell, the unique projecting external nasal structures of the human nose may have absorbed more odor molecules prior to detection, resulting in a weaker smell. The external nose is thought to be an adaptive mechanism to an increasingly arid environment in order to filter and humidify air. The loss of olfactory receptors is also linked to bipedalism in that elevation of the nose from the odor-rich ground may have reduced selection pressure on the olfactory system. Changes in sensory receptors, which are non-essential, may enable animals to occupy new ecological niches. The loss of function of olfactory receptors may be a reflection of the importance of a changing human habitat on modern human olfaction. For a while, it was assumed that the human nose was capable of only smelling 10,000 different scents. It was only recently that scientists overturned that notion with a new theory, that the nose was capable of much, much more, smelling up to 1 trillion scents. Although the human sense of smell is weak compared to many animals, it is still very acute. We can recognize thousands of different smells, and we are able to detect odors in even extremely small quantities. Without your sense of smell, food tastes different, the air isn't as fresh, and you can find yourself in dangerous situations unknowingly. For example, without the ability to detect odors, you wouldn't smell a gas leak, smoke from a fire, or sour milk. Don't put yourself in that situation. Have some common sense. Call 1-800-6666 now to get your new sense of smell today. In association with Febreze.